Hello everyone, this is my vlog for The Masked Singer Season 8 Episode 6. Um, I was just thinking, it's kind of annoying to me. My phone has got to where it won't let me zoom in on front-facing videos. I don't know why, but it won't. But anyway, and I was noticing, like, my eyes seem to have gotten worse, and these glasses here they're readers, and they're not as strong of a prescription as the ones that I had been wearing. And I think that's why my eyes are overall generally getting worse. I need to clean some of the other ones. Joey has kind of gunked them up. But anyway, my eyes are definitely getting worse. So I'm sorry that I haven't got around to doing these. I had some Hulu issues. We had to change our password and stuff. And then I just haven't really felt like doing anything much as far as vlogs go and such. Still been trying to find a job and no luck with that yet. So don't have a vehicle, which makes it harder to look for a job and find one. But anyway, so for episode 6, excuse the background noise because I'm sure you can hear it. But anyway, for episode 6, the theme was the 90s, and Jenny, perhaps even Nicole, had their hair in high ponytails, like the ones on top of your head, which is how mine started out. And I was like, was that a 90s thing? Because me and my sister were rocking that in the 80s. But anyway, so anyway, the theme was the 90s. And the new characters were Walrus and Milkshake. And I noticed that Nick puts "the" in front of everyone's name. And I'm like, I mean, why is it the Walrus and the Milkshake? But anyway, so my thought for Walrus, because he did say that he was surrounded by a full house, and Uncle Jesse on there actually wore a lot of flannel shirts. Oh my gosh, okay. Anyway, Uncle Jesse on Full House did wear a lot of flannel shirts, in my personal opinion. And of course, John Stamos played for him. And for the record, as somebody said, this is a singer. And I'm like, for the record, John Stamos is a singer and an actor and a model. So, you know. And I also wrote up here that it says the clue said that he comes in threes, which kind of confused me on that, because I was like, I mean, there was him, Danny, and Joey on Full House, and that's 3. But aside from that, I don't know where that would have been going, you know. But he seemed to have some connection to Jenny, and he said he come from a very popular zip code, or he had a connection to a very popular zip code. And I was like, I mean, it could possibly be Donnie Wahlberg. It would be funny if it was him. But he came to my mind after I heard him sing for the second time, because I rewound and looked at some of the clues again. Like I was like, I feel like I'm not paying enough attention, so I went back and rewatched him and Milkshake both. And I thought that they said something about Black in his clues, but they didn't. But John Stamos did play for Blackie on General Hospital. And Walrus said, well, okay. What he said was, you and your mom are about to freak out, or something like that. So I was like, I mean, your mom probably watched General Hospital. So I thought that was what he was referencing about that. And I know most of you have already seen this episode and know what happened, most likely. It is so hot in my room. But anyway, so yeah, my initial thought on him was John Stamos, and I thought I took more notes on him than that, but apparently I didn't. So my initial thought on Milkshake was Dennis Rodman, partly because of the way he carried himself and that he did seem to be so tall. Then I thought of Master P, though he did make a comment about never dropping the ball, which made me think basketball, or some other type of sport. He also referred or he also referenced boxing, which made me think of Floyd Mayweather. Um, and his extra clue said pre-game, main event, and after party. Like he's good for your pre-game, main event, and after party. And this is why I went back and watched. I was like, I didn't write down what the clue for Walrus along that line was. So, and in reference to good for your pregame, main event, and after party, he said just ask Wiz and Snoop. So that took me back to Dennis Rodman because I'm like, I'm sure Dennis Rodman does a lot of partying and attends a lot of events and stuff, right? But his first clue, like when they come in, it has a little clue for them, and his said Unbreakable, and I was like, so he could be Bruce Willis, because he was in the Unbreakable movies. And it showed a rooftop with a water tower. There was graffiti. They showed peach pits, which kept making Nicole think of Atlanta, Georgia, or Georgia in general. It sounded like someone hit a baseball, which still has me confused. They showed an orange and a glass of orange juice. There was a rocket. And he said something about throwing a knockout punch. And so I decided, like when I went back and listened to them and rewatched the clues and stuff, I decided that he was Mike Tyson, which is interesting. Why is it interesting, you ask? Because I'm referring to Milkshake, and I'm pretty sure that Leslie Jordan, who ended up being a guest on this episode, I think that was on this episode. No, because I feel like I would have written that down. But anyway, there was someone that he thought was Mike Tyson, but it wasn't the same person that I thought was Mike Tyson. So I thought that was interesting. And then, so of course, Lambs came back and they performed. And I thought that when I rewatched this, I wrote down what they sang, but I guess not. But anyway, so the Lambs performed next, and they said they have to stay hocused instead of focused, which is another reference to Hocus Pocus. That's the second reference they've made to it, which of course takes me to Bette Midler and the other two ladies that are on Hocus Pocus. But I feel like there is at least one of them who can't really sing. So I don't know. It could still just be referencing something witchy or something, you know. And they referred to one of them as the boss, though, and, you know, Bette Midler is the boss of the witches on Hocus Pocus. So, as I've mentioned, I believe a couple of times, I did consider the three ladies from Hocus Pocus briefly during episode 5, but I dismissed them for the Hollowell sisters from Charmed. But, you know, it could be women from Hocus Pocus. It could be someone that did Hocus Pocus on Broadway. Some people that did, which makes me think it could actually be the three women from Mamma Mia. Meryl Streep and I can't think of the other two, but yeah, the ones that did the movie. And so they showed popcorn, and there was the famous blue jeans and the huge diamond ring. This was a reminder of the clues we had already seen, and I had forgotten about the popcorn clue. Popcorn from this show, from The Masked Singer, turned out to be Taylor Dayne, for the record. So perhaps there's a Taylor Dayne connection, or she had her biggest hit in the 80s, so perhaps there's someone that was popular in the 80s. And there was something that they said, well, I think okay, that's coming up. So anyway, I did write down what they sang, and I thought they did an excellent job of singing it. They sang Ironic by Alanis Morissette, which explains why I've had that song in my head. Aside from the fact that it did rain on one of my daughter's wedding days, up until the actual event. But anyway, so their clue was Go Your Own Way, which is a song title But they said, go your own way and cruise the country with your besties, which made me think of a couple of people, you know. There's the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. Those ladies always drove around the countryside in a car together. It made me think of the Cheetah Girls. I couldn't find which movie it was. I was I was really trying to find that one, and of course, Raven-Symoné was on Road Trip, which didn't have the other Cheetah Girls. That had Lucas Grabeel, but anyway, she was in that movie, and she's one of the Cheetah Girls. But Go Your Own Way is a song title, and that song was sang by Fleetwood Mac, and the group Fleetwood Mac did have 3 female members, so I made note of that. Of course, the main one of those being Stevie Nicks. But yeah, that's what I was about to say, and I was like, wait, I think it's down here somewhere. But yeah, so could possibly be the 3 women from Fleetwood Mac. I did not make a note of all of them's name, but there was a Road Trip tape that said Jams on it. And I was like, you know, there is a movie called Road Trip, which I'm pretty sure is the one that has Raven-Symoné, or no, that's College Road Trip, I guess, has Raven-Symoné and Lucas Grabeel, and they go to various colleges. But I was like, they could be the Cheetah Girls. And then I made a note that referencing the Cheetah Girls, Hocus Pocus 2 was only released on Disney Plus, and the Cheetah Girls movies were on Disney. They were also released in theaters eventually, but yeah, they have a strong connection to Disney, so it could definitely be the Cheetah Girls, and I'm pretty sure that every single one of them has been on The Masked Singer by themselves. Raven-Symoné, Adrienne Bailon, and Sabrina Bryan. I'm pretty sure they have all been on the show by themselves, so why not go on as a group, right? Okay, so the first one that got unmasked, remember they're unmasking 2 and only leaving 1 who is crowned the king or queen of the show. So the first one that got unmasked was Walrus. And I decided to go with Donnie Wahlberg because wouldn't it be cool if he was on there again? He was on that one, you know, being the guy that gave the clues, Clue Doodle Doo or whatever they called him. But yeah, so I decided to go with him more because I thought it sounded like him than anything else. And Ken guessed John Stamos, which of course was my original guess. Robin stuck with his initial guess too, which was Joey Lawrence from Blossom. Jenny actually guessed Scott Wolf, and with everything she was saying, I totally thought she was going to guess Donnie because she was talking about someone who stayed in her house and stuff that was in her house that was in the clues and stuff, and I'm like, so you're going to say Donnie? And she didn't. She went with Scott Wolf. But anyway. And Nicole went with Mario Lopez, which she got to because she couldn't pronounce the guy that played for Zach's name. I'll say by the bell. But anyway, that was crazy. So anyway, Walrus did turn out to be Joey Lawrence, and it was excellent to see him on there. I did not realize that he sang so well. Apparently he did have an album, which I also did not realize. And I got thinking about him saying that he was surrounded by a full house, and like at one point Full House came on twice, so I'm guessing Full House came on, Blossom came on, and then Full House came on again, is what I'm thinking about that. And there were 3 of them. There was him, the brother Tony, and of course Blossom on Blossom, and then there's him and his 2 brothers in real life. So that's at least 2 sets of 3s for him. But yeah, it did turn out to be him, and I was glad to see that. And the other characters faced off in a battle royale with, I'm sorry. They faced off in a battle royale with What Is Love by Haddaway. I did not know who sang that song. I thought they both did pretty good. And I concluded that Milkshake was Mike Tyson, and Lambs are Cheetah Girls, is where I went with this. The other one that was revealed was Milkshake. He was not the best singer, but I did think that they both did very well on the song that they did. Ken for Milkshake guessed LL Cool J. I would love to see him on there sometime as well. Robin said Deshaun Jackson, who I believe was a football player. Jenny stuck with Jazzy Jeff. He was on The Fresh Prince of Bel Air with Will Smith and did a lot of other things as well, of course. And Nicole guessed T.I., which I thought was a very interesting guess, but partly because of the Atlanta thing, you know. I honestly thought he was Mike Tyson, and my only rapper type guess would have been Drake. But no, I guessed still that he had to be Mike Tyson, right? That's just totally who he seemed to me like he was. Um, and to me, when he sang the first song, or no, it was when he was given his first clues. To me, it didn't really sound like his voice was disguised, and his voice kind of made me think of Lil Wayne, which was why I said I would go with Drake for a rapper, because there have been times when I'm listening to songs that I think it's Lil Wayne singing, and I'm like, he's got a really distinct voice, and it turns out to be Drake. So that's why I said that. But he did turn out to be an NFL football player by the name of Le'Veon Bell, and I did not make note of what team he played for. But he did a very good job for not being a singer, and it was very good to see him on the show. I don't know who he is really. I've heard the name, of course, before, but possibly because I've guessed him before. But I did think it was interesting. You know, Robin went with Deshaun Jackson. He was in the right ballpark. And it turned out to be Le'Veon Bell. But he was the closest of all of them. So, of course, the Lambs moved on to the semifinals with Harp. And I am going to go ahead and conclude this for now. I'm still planning to try and start doing my Mystery Mondays vlogs again. What I want to do with those, as I have mentioned before, is do some reviews of some of the cases that I have done before. And then I plan to go back to the missing persons cases in our national parks within the U.S., mainly, largely because human trafficking is a real deal around the world, and especially in our country and in the area where I live, and I don't want to put myself or others in harm's way by talking about cases that might involve something along that line too much. But if there is a case that anyone wants me to look into, feel free to message me or leave a comment or something, preferably on one of my Mystery Mondays vlogs. I'm going to go ahead and go though. I need to make my other my other Masked Singer vlog before the new episode airs tonight. But anyway, everyone have a great whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay safe and stay positive.